Hi Year 4, it's Miss Atkin. Welcome to Tuesday's literacy lesson. So you need your literacy book and pencil, and the first thing you need to do is write today's date, which is Tuesday the 23rd of February 2021. The learning objective, which today is to identify features, and then your subheading, SPAG. So pause the video so you can write those three things at the top of your new page in your book. Well done. So for our SPAG today, we are going to be looking at brackets. Can you think why we use brackets in a sentence? Pause the video so you can have a think about that. We use brackets to add additional information to a sentence. The sentence has to make sense without the brackets. It's just a bit more interesting with the added detail. So we use brackets to put in a little bit extra to add to our sentence, but the sentence has to make sense without that information. What I want you to do now is pause this video. You'll go back onto the blog and click the link for the BBC Bite-Size video. I want you to watch that and then come back to our lesson. Well done. So you should now have a bit more of an understanding of why we use brackets and how we use brackets. Here I have got a sentence. My sentence says, tigers who have 30 teeth hunt for deer and wild pigs as their prey. Can you think about where the brackets should go in my sentence? The brackets go around my extra information that it will make sense without that information. So I need to think which bit is extra information in my sentence. It would be tigers who have 30 teeth hunt for deer and wild pigs as their prey. Because, not hunt, wrong part. Because if I said tigers hunt for deer and wild pigs as their prey, that sentence makes sense on its own without the bit inside my bracket. But the bit inside my bracket, tigers who have 30 teeth, adds a little bit more information to my sentence. Your first challenge then, I want you to choose mild, spicy or hot. Can you write out the sentence and put the bracket in the correct place? Pandas who eat bamboo live in forests. Spicy, tigers who usually live alone are nocturnal animals. And hot, a hippopotamus, also called a hippo, spends up to 16 hours a day in water. Pause the video and write out your sentence with the bracket in the correct place. If you chose mild, your bracket should go around who eats bamboo, because pandas live in forests, makes sense on its own, and who eat bamboo is the extra added information about them. Spicy, your bracket should have gone around who usually live alone, because tigers are nocturnal animals is a sentence that makes sense on its own, and who usually live alone is the extra information in our sentence. If you chose hot, your bracket should have gone around also called a hippo, because a hippopotamus spends up to 16 hours a day in water, makes sense on its own, and the bit inside my bracket, also called a hippo, adds a little bit more information to my sentence. So you should have written that on this side of your page, so you can give yourself a nice tick if you've got your brackets in the correct place. Here I've got a sentence that I want to add some more information to because it's a little bit boring. It says, most sea turtles eat crabs, seagrass and jellyfish. Pause the video and have a think about what extra information I could add about this sentence or into my sentence. I need to think about what I know about turtles. So I could talk about where they live or something else I know about them to add a little bit more information to my sentence. I know that most sea turtles eat crabs, seagrass and jellyfish. Ooh, what does that make them? That makes them omnivores. So that could be my information I had. So most sea turtles who are omnivores eat crabs, seagrass and jellyfish because that means they eat meat and plants. So there I've added my extra information with brackets. So your next challenge is to write the sentence and add additional information using brackets. So mild, your sentence is tigers have big paws. Spicy, your sentence is elephants live and travel in large groups. And hot, male penguins keep newly laid eggs warm by balancing them on their feet. Can you think of extra information about, extra information to add into these sentences? Pause the video so you can have a go. Well done. So you would have written something different to everyone. So if you chose mild, you might have written tigers who are mammals, put it in the brackets, have big paws, or tigers who live in the jungle have big paws. Spicy, you might have said elephants who live in the desert, live and travel in large groups. You might have said at the end what the large groups are called. Elephants live and travel in large groups called herds. Hot, male penguins keep newly laid eggs warm by balancing them on their feet. You might have said male penguins who live in groups. You might know that. Keep newly laid eggs warm by balancing them on their feet. So as long as your sentence still makes sense with your extra information, you can give yourself a nice tick. I chose spicy, so I said elephants who have large ivory tusks live and travel in large groups. Okay, so we are onto our literacy learning now. So again, we know that we are going to be writing an encyclopedia page. Our purpose is to inform our audience, and we are explaining our animals, habitat and classification. So we've been researching our animals. You should know so much about your animal by now that you will be able to do it in your sleep. So today we are going to be looking at an example. So we're going to be looking at features of an encyclopedia page. So just pause the video to have a think about what features you think encyclopedias will have. Encyclopedias are almost like a fact file, a fact sheet that give you loads of information about a certain thing. So in our encyclopedia pages, we will have a title. There needs to be a title to tell people what they're going to be learning about. There will also be pictures. You might have thought of pictures. There will be an introduction to give us a little bit of an insight into what we're learning about. There will be subheadings so we know what each section is about. There will be paragraphs because we'll have different sections and subheadings. There will be captions. What's a caption? A caption is a little sentence that goes underneath a picture to tell you what it's about. There will be lots of facts and key vocabulary, and there will be labelled pictures. So let's have a look at an example. Here I have got a page from my encyclopedia at home. So can you spot any of the features we have mentioned? I've got a little list down here. So pause the video to see if you can spot any of those features we mentioned. Okay, so we should all be able to spot the title. The title is rhinoceroses. It's plural, rhinoceroses. So we're learning about rhinos. We can also spot some pictures. The picture here and here. There's lots of pictures. Can we spot an introduction? Introduction. We'll have to read through it. It says the first rhinoceroses existed about 30 million years ago, and some evolved into the largest land mammals that ever lived. Today, few creatures are in such a desperate plight as the rhinos. Thousands have been killed for their horns, and all the official list of endangered species. I think this is our introduction. It's quite a long introduction, but it tells us a little bit about what we're learning about on this page. Can you find subheadings? There's a subheading here, black rhinoceroses. There's, I think it's Malayan typer. I think there's a subheading here, it's a bit smaller, but it says rhinoceros horn, and then faces, and then there's a picture above it. I think that's the subheading here, but I'm not sure what that says. Can you find any captions? Are there captions to the pictures? I don't think so, are there? I think this maybe would be a caption, but I can't really see it. So we'll leave captions. What about paragraphs? Can you spot any paragraphs? We've got paragraphs where all of our subheadings are. Paragraph there and there. Just small paragraphs. I'm sure there are lots of facts in here and key vocabulary, but we can also spot a labelled picture here. You can see all the labels around it, pointing to parts of the rhino and telling us about them. So this page has got lots of the features that we need to put in our encyclopedia page. In your pack, you will find this waggle. It's about lions and an encyclopedia page, and your job is to read through it and then identify the features. So, as well as that in your pack, you will have your task sheet. So what you need to do is to stick the encyclopedia page into your pack, into your book, and find the list of features. So you'll need to find the title, subheadings, pictures, captions, adjectives, brackets, prepositions, apostrophes for possession, key vocabulary, labels, parentheses, commas, the subordinate clauses, and fronted adverbial. So you'll stick it in your book. You can either colour code it if you want and do a little table, or you can underline or highlight and label. So if you're underlining it, make sure you label what the feature is. If you're doing it in different colours, make sure you have a list of what those colours mean. So when we come to mark it, we know you've found the right features. If you finish that task and you want to have a go at the challenge, your challenge is to draw a labelled picture of your animal, just like in the waggle. I'll show you here, look. The lion's got a labelled picture here, giving us information about each part of it, and to give detail about all of your labels. For example, in the lion's one it says teeth, large, strong canine teeth for tearing prey. If you need help, you can email us at year4@puklo.sheffield.sch.uk and we'll get back to you as quick as we can. So what you need to do now is get your waggle and your task sheet, stick this in your book and start to identify the features in it from the list on your sheet.